Hey guys, before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to EA and Codemasters for giving me early access to this build. You the man. What's going on, guys? It is your boy, F1 2022. I didn't even write in my notes what the f this update's called. We're going to say F1 Life. I think it's F1 Life. Yeah, obviously, I do want to say as well, this was a work in progress build. So, like, if anything I say in this video does change or is a little bit, you know, a little bit wonky, yeah. Obviously things might change. I've been playing it for the past like week, whenever I've had free time really, delving into all the new features and all the new updates. So thank you for that, EA. I'm about to tell you a whole new ass crack and you gave me access. It's mad.
Consensual.
I think like all of you guys, when Codemasters got bought out by EA, the first thing that I thought of was, oh my God, F1 Ultimate Team. And it turns out that is not quite what has happened. Instead, what they've done is they've added supercars, customizable characters, and kind of like a PGR style house. So I think we should talk about some of the good stuff that's changed first before we go ahead and get into the
bad.
Because it's not all bad. It's not all bad. There is some good stuff. So I was playing as McLaren in the career mode. I'm not even that big of a McLaren fan, to be honest. I'm not really a fan of any major F1 team, really. I'm more a fan of the drivers. But McLaren, out of all the manufacturers that are in F1, that's the one I resonate with the most. So I kind of went in with the whole idea of, I'm going to bring McLaren back to the glory days. As the second brown man on the grid, yes sir. I played the majority of my playthrough with a controller as well. Kind of quickly just talk about that as well. So I know a lot of people will be like, F1 2022 is a game you need to enjoy on a wheel. And you know what I say to those people? You're probably right, to be fair, but the majority of people are going to play on controller, and I am one of those people that when I play F1, I'll play it on a controller and treat it like a sports career mode, not like I'm playing a sim. If I want to drive F1 cars around a track in a simulated format, I'll go on Assetto Corsa and do some hot lapping. F1 for me is not that type of game. And it is where the majority of people are going to play. Most of people are going to play on controller. So, like, with that being said, I think it's important that, we see how this game feels on a controller. You know, I imagine a very small percentage of people, like in the grand scheme of things, are actually going to be playing this on a wheel. And yeah, let's talk about the physics first and the controller and how the new physics work with the controller and all those kind of things. These cars are definitely harder. I am not an F1 alien. I think anyone who used to watch any of my Twitch streams on the last game that came out will know I am not an alien. And I still had to search like controller settings from last year to dial it in. Codemasters, it is not good that I need to do that, by the way, but hopefully this is something that can get sorted the closer we get to launch. Obviously this is pre-release, so fingers crossed that these things can get sorted. This game is a lot harder. One thing I noticed is it's all about how early you can put your throttle down after turn-in, as well as kind of the opposite way around in the last game. You'll find that you will be spinning out a lot more in this game. Even with medium traction control on, this shit was a myth. I tried traction control off and medium on a controller, and both of them were like, yeah, you're gonna be struggling. It's gonna take you a while to figure out, when you can actually come on power after a corner kind of thing. Like, yeah, there's a little bit more skill involved when it comes to those kind of things. Like, it's not as black and white as it used to be. Interactive pit stops. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool addition. Adds a little bit of variation, keeps you on your toes. Yeah, it does take a little bit of time to kind of get used to it. I think once you get used to it, it's not too bad, but it's cool. Keeps you on your tiptoes, adds a bit to the pit stops, doesn't make it so like formulaic and boring. Good point. That's a good point. Little check. Let's go. With that being said, though, I think it's about time we talk about these supercars because I think this is where things are kind of gonna get a little bit worse. So in concept, I really, really like the idea of supercars being in F1, break up all of the F1, you know, races with some supercars in the middle, bit of drifting, a little bit of autocross. I thought the modes they added for this pretty cool. You've got drift, autocross, time attack. I think the selection of cars was quite nice. It kind of ties in quite well, obviously, with the manufacturers that are in F1. So you've got McLarens, Ferraris, Astons, and they're all new cars. It's not old stuff, which I think is good. I think that's how it should be, because, you know, it's like the newest F1 game. It would be cool if they added some classic stuff and, you know, added a bit of variation in there. There's not many cars as well. The roster's quite short, and every car definitely feels different. That was something that I noticed. I think that's kind of where the positives end for me with the supercars, to be honest. We got to talk about the physics, man. We have to talk about the physics. Sorry guys at Codies, if you're about to watch what I'm about to say, it's a bit brutal, but I hope you can understand it's coming from a place of love. So I don't really think Codies have properly mastered physics in any of their games, any of their arcade racing games, in years. Grid, for the longest of times, even the new one, is not great. Dirt 5 had good physics, but was a little bit janky at points, you know, and that's a very different style of game compared to F1 2022 Supercars. So we go into, you know, this F1 physics engine, completely different engine to all the other stuff they use, and, you know, you try to put supercars in it, and obviously these cars are completely drastically different to the F1 cars that the models are based around, like the physics engine is based around. I have driven these cars in other simulators, Saturday Corsa namely, and, you know, the brakes, they are like tin cans, bro. I've had understeering issues where, you know, you'll be going into a corner trying to put the nose in, it just doesn't work. You know, I've been playing a lot of Gran Turismo recently, and that has kind of the opposite problem, where cars will tend to oversteer more. What I will say though, before I do go any further, is that obviously this is pre-release, things could improve. I'm just talking about my impressions on what I played with this build. And it is a shame, because the F1 physics are actually really, really good. And you can only change the color of the car, but the color is only based on real life spec colors, I believe. Which I think, again, is a missed opportunity. If you're going to do that, then at least let us change the interior colors and, you know, go the extra mile. Like, yeah, I would have preferred if they spent a little bit more time on career mode and added a few more things into the career mode instead of adding supercars, to be honest. And that definitely goes for the character customization and the kind of F1 life space thing. So I played through this build as if I was just playing through the normal game, and like I was going through my career mode and those kind of things. I honestly forgot. I honestly forgot that the kind of customization in the like open space was even a thing, to be honest. It's a bit out of the way. You don't really see it in the career mode unless you obviously use my team, but I guess if I'm on PC, which I am, I tend to mod in those manufacturers anyway. So I guess it's cool if you're on console. Obviously, the majority of people are on console. But yeah, if you're going to play as an existing team in the game, if you're going to mod in a different team into the game, it's a little bit out of the way. Definitely a bit of EA syndrome on it. Like, you know, like, even if you look at like Need for Speed Heat, that had character customization, and I definitely believe that this is an EA-led thing. That is speculation, by the way. No one's told me that. But if you just look at trends and look at like the past few games they've released, you know, even like FIFA, you know, that is kind of the direction they've been going down recently. You know, it would have been nice if you could customize your factory, those kind of things, you know, but instead they gave you this kind of this social space, and I just think I'm not a big fan of the whole thing generally, to be honest. With a lot of the character customization I've noticed in games, what people tend to do is like customize their character once and never touch it again. I can only speak for myself. In Horizon, in recent games, that is basically what I've done. In Need for Speed Heat, same thing. You know, in all, you know, pretty much all of the games that have these types of character customization modes, I don't really touch them after I customize my guy for the first time. And I can see that being the case with this as well. Anyway, thanks EA for giving me early access to this build. Hopefully I'll get access to more and, you know, don't get removed from the game changes. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe and peace.